All right, we got Travis from ebugout.com. They make customizable bug out bags. Trav, you there?
Yep.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Hey, it's going good.
Good. So you have a special service that does customizable bug out bags, but what sets you guys apart from everyone else who's trying to create a website and sell products, you have a highly customizable site and it's interactive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I put this together to give you a little bit of background on how eBugout kind of came to be. It was actually created by me and founded by me out of personal frustration. So I'm sure that everybody can kind of relate their first experience with doing a bug out bag. It can be very frustrating. It can be very stressful. And so I'm no different. I mean, I went through that process. I made mistakes along the way. And, a few years had passed by, and I was trying to get family members and friends involved in this. And the reality of it is that a bug out bag is just a really steep learning curve to do research on quality gear, to get quality items. And so that's kind of why I created this, is because I wasn't able to get a lot of people into prepping with me that could take a passion, because, everybody's got things going on in their lives and they're busy and they don't have time, and so on and so forth. And so this kind of really combats that in a sense. We've personally reviewed all the items on our site, and yeah, it's just like you said, it's really interactive. It tallies weight and stuff, and we'll get into that. But yeah, that's basically how we came to be. Is just I myself have been into survival for a while. I was really frustrated with my experience, and with my background in web development and web design, I decided, hey, I'm going to do something about this, and I'm going to change this experience for other people.
Cool. From what I understand, you guys are the first ever advanced custom bug out tool as far as the interactive. You guys have a special feature on your site that you programmed yourself, where when you're creating a bug out bag, if there's stuff they don't have that they need, you guys will recommend the best product for them that they don't already have. And it's also calculated by weight, because weight is very important in survival. If someone's bugging out and they have hundreds of miles to travel, weight is a huge factor in all of that. And you guys also suggest what is the lightest items for the bug out bags?
So we don't necessarily make suggestions based on weight. All the weights have been personally weighed by us. That we didn't go by Amazon's weight or anything like that. We individually weighed all the products here, because it was actually pretty alarming how bad Amazon weights actually are. But that's not what we're talking about. So we individually weighed all these on a scale here, and made sure that the weights were accurate. And so when you add an item to your cart, you can see that weight tally up. And before you actually add it to your cart on eBugout, you can see what the weight is. So you can see what the volume of the product is and what the weight of the product is, so that you can make that choice as to whether you want to spend a little bit more on something that's a little bit lighter, or whether you want to spend more on something that's maybe doesn't take up as much space, like a sleeping pad. Those can get pretty bulky, and if you invest a little bit more money, you actually can get those, packed down a lot more. So.
Cool. So there's a lot of people getting into prepping and survival lately. And if you take your average person, like you said before, they don't have the time or the knowledge. Some of them don't even know what they need in their bug out bag. And that's where you guys come in, right?
Yes, exactly. So this thing is really catered to really helping people, especially if you're new. I mean, there's definitely a use case for seasoned preppers as well. But if you're one of those preppers or survivalists or whatever that have experienced your gear, and you know that you want a very specific knife, and that's the only knife that's going to work for you, eBugout might not be the solution for you. But what eBugout is a solution for is people who are looking for quality products. We only feature quality products. We make sure that we set that threshold at a level that we know that you're going to be satisfied with the gear that you're going to receive in the mail. There's a lot of prepackaged kits out there that just don't cut it. If you go out and you buy one of those prepackaged kits, you're going to be frustrated because the knife that you get in there is going to snap on you. All the rest of the gear isn't high quality, and honestly, those prepackaged kits, they're basically, a lot of them are more or less a glorified first aid kit more than anything with a Chinese knife in it. So, you know, it really walks you through the process. So if you go to ebuggout.com and you click on the site and you go over to our Build-A-Bag tool, you'll see that there's a few features on the tool that are really nice. So the menu's laid out and it's separated into categories. So you have here, let me just pull it up here real quick, and I'll actually walk through the interface so I can do this real time.
I just went to the site too just now, and it's a beautiful website.
Yeah, so we have everything split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 categories. So there's water, fire, tools, food, medical, shelter, accessories, and backpacks. And so when you come to the site, there's a few things you can do. You can click on any one of those. Like, for instance, if we click on water, which is the first category, you're presented with 3 additional options. You're presented with bottles, purification, and filters. So you need one of each of those. So if we click on bottles, we're presented with 2 more options. Do we want a plastic water bottle or do we want a metal water bottle? Okay, so me personally, I'll go with the plastic. I click on plastic, and I'm presented with 6.
Let's war game this out. Let's actually build. Let's war game this out. Let's actually build a full bug out bag together on air right now. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, that won't take long.
I have 000 in my cart. So we're starting with bottles.
Yep.
And you were saying, yeah.
I'm going to go with a plastic bottle, and I'm going to go with the Nalgene 32 ounce, the second option there. You'll see I don't care about the color. Like I said, you can get different colors on eBugOut as well. I'm going to go with the cheapest one because I'm going to try to get the most value for my money. So a Nalgene water bottle, $9.59. I'm going to add it to the cart. Okay, we got that done. We're 4% of the way there. Now, when we added that to the cart, we can see that so far our bag weighs 6.4 ounces. We're at 4% of the way done, and our cart is $9.59. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can also see your required bag volume just for that bottle is 2.65 liters. So now we're already getting an idea of things as we're adding them to the cart. So now let's go into purification quick. We have drops and tablets. I'd probably just do tablets. And I'm going to go with the Aquamira 10 there, the cheaper one, the $7 one. It looks like it's 10 tablets, so I'm going to add that to the cart. I'm more of a filter guy anyway, so that's like a backup to a backup for me. So I'm going to add that to the cart, and then I'm going to go to filters. And we have 2 options there. We have straws.
You're going too fast. Yeah, this is really fun, and I'm having a good time so far because I don't feel like I'm at a website. I feel like I'm like half website, half video game. This is really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, we tried to make it interactive and fun. So, I mean, like I said, we wanted to alleviate as much stress as possible. So now we're on filters, and I'm definitely a filter guy. If I had to choose between a filter or a purification method, filter is definitely going to be my number one before the purification tablets or the drops. So now we have straws or long term. Now I've been exposed to both. I'm going to go with more of the long term, and I'm actually going to go with the Sawyer Mini, the first option there. $18.25, and I will go with the pink one because that is the cheapest. So I'm going to add that to the cart. Now we're done with water. Now you can see on the interface all those check marks that are checked, and you can see bottles are checked off, purifications checked off, filters, and that added the check mark to the water category as well. So now we can jump right into fire. We're done with the water category, and we're 11% done with the bug out bag, and we're at $34 so far. So we click on lighters. There's Bic, there's the Flipper med lighters, and there's...
Stop. Okay. This is amazing. How did you do this? You did this yourself?
So there's a lot of programming behind this. It took a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of innovation actually. This is pairing like 3 different Amazon APIs to even make this possible, and communicating back and forth with all of them in real time to make this even work. And so I don't think that their APIs were necessarily designed to do this, but I kind of re-engineered how they work to make this possible. So.
You must be a genius because, I mean, does the average person even know what an API even is?
Well, if you're in programming, you probably do. It's basically just an endpoint that you can hit with data and get more data back. But yeah, it's just So I don't want to get into the complicated stuff or anything like that. But yeah, there was a lot of programming involved. There was a lot of reviewing involved. One of our senior product testers at eBugout, he actually recommended most of the items because with his experience, he's hiked the entire Appalachian Trail, start to finish, from Georgia to Maine. And so he's got a lot of experience with using these products and stuff. And a lot of the products that are actually featured on this tool, he used out on the trail. So we know that they're going to hold up in a survival situation.
Okay, so they're all battle tested. You guys have tested every single product on here.
Right, exactly. Yep, every single one we have tested, and we have them here so that we can continue to test them and play with them and do blog posts on them and stuff like that. So
excellent. This is awesome. All right. Next up.
All right, yeah. So we're on the fire category. We're on lighters. There's 3 options available: the Bic, the Med Lighter, or the I don't even know how to actually say that properly. Jeep. I don't know if you actually pronounce the D or not. But okay, so there's 3 options. Most people, I think, in general, are probably just going to choose the Bics because they're just so common. So we'll add that to our cart. There's going to be 6 of them. So you might not need 6 in your bug out bag. Put 3 in there or something, and put a couple in the laundry room closet or your kitchen drawer or whatever. Or if you have them at home, just leave that category empty. You don't have to do a full bug out bag on eBugout. That's the nice thing too, is we don't force you to fill every category. If you're missing a knife, a fire starter, and a book of matches, then come and buy that from us, and then you have a complete bug out bag. So even if you already have a bug out bag and you don't know necessarily if it's complete, you can complete it on ebugout.com and just get what you need. So okay, so let's continue on. So matches. Out of all these that I tested, I'm going to go with the one in the middle, the UCO matches. Actually, no, that's a lie. Okay, I'm going to go with the ones on the second to last. There's a lot of different UCO matches. I'm going to go with the Stormproof matches. Those are incredible. You cannot.
What's the one in the container? The green container.
The one in the container. So yeah, if you want a waterproof container, that's not a bad idea. The very last one, it's $7.11. It has 25 matches and 3 strikers in there. And actually, that's our most common product that sells in the matches category. So,
well, for my kit, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the UCO match kit.
Okay, I'll do that one too, yeah. Those matches are incredible, by the way. Those Stormproof matches, I mean, you cannot put those out with a full gust of air from your mouth. You could run them under tap water. They won't go out unless you literally submerge it for at least a couple of seconds solid. So they're pretty incredible to use in windy and rainy conditions. Okay, now we're on to flints. Out of all these, I think I would probably lean towards the third one, the UST Blast Match. The reason I say that is it's a one-handed operation. You never know what's going to happen in a survival scenario. You might fall, you might break an arm or something, and you might only have one arm to use. It's the only one-handed operation.
Okay, well,
Flint Spreaker that's on the site, so let's add that one to the cart. Next category is
all of these has a description. This one,
yep, every single item on our site has a description and a review. Yep.
This one lasts 4,000 strikes for use in any weather or altitude, spring-loaded for one-hand operation, included handle, striker, and rod, and it weighs 2.2 ounces. Okay, sounds good. Let's add it.
Yep. So we'll add that. And then next is fire fuel. Those conditions where you're just in a really rainy condition and you just need some type of fuel to get a fire going. So we have 3 options. We have the Espit fire cubes, we have the wet fire tinder, and we have the Weber fire starter cubes. So these are, for the most part, they're all pretty much the same thing, so I would recommend probably going with the cheapest one there. It looks like the Espit right now is the cheapest, so I'm going to add that one to the cart. And that's done with the fire. Now we're done with the fire category, and we're 25% done with our bug out bag. So far, our bug out bag weighs 1 pound, 10.95 ounces. We're at $70.82, and we need 4.64 liters to be able to pack those items. So now we're done with two categories out of 8. So we're really cruising along here. So now if we go into tools and click on cutting tools, there's 4 options available. We can do folding knives, fixed knives, axes, or tomahawks. And actually, Vincent, I'm going to let you run this whole portion. So you get to choose all the tools here. You just tell me what to click on, and I'll add it to my carts as well. So you just make the choices.
Okay.
In this
All right. Folding knives are great, but in a survival situation, I hear fixed knives are better than a folding knife. So I'm thinking of leaning towards the fixed knife. I mean, you also have axes and tomahawks. Can I choose more than one, or do I just choose one in this category?
Yep, you can choose more than one. Yep, you can always do more than one on eBug Out. You can do multiple of the same product. You can do an axe and a tomahawk. You can do an axe and a folding knife. You can do a fixed knife and a folding knife. Whatever you want. But we just help track. We need to make sure that we have at least one cutting tool. That's the only thing that our interface makes sure that you have a cutting tool in there. So.
Yeah. Well, you're already suggesting all the things that people need. So what I want to do is check off everything in the categories you suggested, and then if there's anything afterwards that I think I might want, I could add later. So for now, I'm going to go with the fixed knife.
Okay.
All right. You have a couple different options here. As far as your product, you know what? I'm going to go with the Gerber Ultimate.
The Gerber Ultimate. Okay.
As far as your product reviews, which knife did you find was one of the best?
You know, honestly, a lot of them. I'm not really partial to any one here. The Gerber, the one nice thing about the Gerber that you chose is that one does have an extra flint steel in it, and it's pretty impressive. I've actually that's a flint steel included in the knife that I would actually be able to rely on. It's not a cheap flint steel. It'll actually throw a spark, and I could actually do that instead of just a flint steel if I really wanted to, because it actually has a channel in the back of the knife for that flint steel, and you can throw some pretty decent sparks with that. So that's a really good perk to that one. And then you have a couple of K-bars in there. You know, people know how good those are. So, I mean, they kind of speak for themselves. But the Gerber, yeah, I mean, I like the Gerber. Honestly, I liked it, so let's just go with that.
Yeah, they all look like they're good knives, but I am a fan of Bear Grylls. I watch this show, and yeah, let's go with that. All right, so we're adding that to the cart. Okay, we're doing pretty good so far. All right, what's next? Lights. Okay, lights. All right, so you have headlamps and flashlights.
Yep.
All right, so I can pick either or. Wow, the headlamps are pretty cool, especially if you're working with stuff at night. Hey, I can easily see how someone could be addicted to this site and, you know, like really have fun and spend, you know, quite some time trying to. The site itself doesn't take a long time. You have it easily integrated. Your programming is amazing. But I can see why it would take people a long time, because there's so many options that, you know, they have to sit and think which one they want to order. But that's the fun part of it. I mean,
yeah, that's the fun part. I mean, we don't necessarily. I mean, I'll be honest with you, okay? If you know exactly what you want, you can go on ebugout.com, go to our Build-A-Bag tool, and I could easily, if, you know, I know what gear I would want exactly, I could customize my bug-out bag on this tool in less than 2 minutes, guaranteed. I could be checked out in less than 2 minutes, okay? Now, I don't recommend people do that because, you know, a bug-out bag is a very personal thing. You want to make sure that you're getting the products that are going to work best for you, because in a survival scenario, it's not necessarily what is a better knife side-by-side comparison, because different knives work differently for different people. You know, I mean, there's definitely a quality thing in there, but we already handled the quality thing. We made sure that all the stuff on our site is quality. So all you have to choose is which one's going to work best for you. If you have larger hands, we have some larger knives on there that might fit better in your hands. If you have smaller hands, we have some folding knives that would fit really good in your hand. I mean, it's really about choosing gear that's going to work good for your body type, or you know, the type of person you are, or how strong you are, or you know, or how much weight you can handle. All that stuff has to go into your deciding factors when you're choosing this type of gear.
Cool. All right, so I'm leaning more towards the flashlight, and out of these flashlights, which ones of them can I press it and it does a flashlight, but then I press it again and maybe it's a strobe light, or it has a thing for SOS by light. Which is the best flashlight as far as that?
So actually, most of them do have those different lighting modes. You can see on there. See, this one has 4. This one has 5 lighting modes. This one has this one has 2 lighting modes. This one has 5. And this one, I think, is just standard or whatever. But out of all of these, actually, the one that I leaned towards was the LE, actually the cheapest one that we feature on the site. It's $8, and that was the one I was most impressed with. Now, that one does not have any SOS signals on it, but that flashlight gets so bright that you can turn the dial up near the lenses or whatever, and as you adjust it, you can get it to focus so bright that you can see the LED on the wall 10 feet away from you. You can actually see the LED outline crisply on the wall. That's how bright it gets. So that one you can really focus. Well, if you wanted to go in with lighting mode, I would probably lean towards the fourth option, the Vizeri. That one's got an illuminator cap on it, which can be kind of nice. If you're trying to flag somebody down, you put that on the end of the flashlight, and then you have basically one of those little airplane rod things that they use to flag in planes. So that's kind of a cool feature of that one.
One I had my eye on.
Yeah, so
that's the one I had my eye on.
So let's add that one then, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, I want to look quickly at the different descriptions of all the different ones. All right, the first one it's $7.99. That's pretty cheap. Okay, the other one's got some good stuff too. All right, you see, I love this. I love how you can very easily pull up the descriptions, and it tells you everything you need to know, and you can make a decision based upon that. Wow, this is actually pretty difficult because as far as price-wise, the cheaper one, it does everything you need it to do, but it's only $7.99. So,
right.
But the other one's $29, but it's got so many more features. It's not really that much more money, but wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices to make on this. But at least we do it in a fun, engaging way. I mean, creating a bug-out bag is always awesome. A lot of decisions for you to make. But what we tried to do is make it as stress-free and as fun as possible for people, because creating a bug-out bag and going around and trying to get gear from a million different places and assemble it and pack it, and then you find out you don't have a big enough backpack or something like that, that's not fun for anybody. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody likes going on 30-mile round trips to different stores to get 2 items here and 1 item there and 2 items here. It's way more fun to do it and actually see a whole package come together in one interface, and then you can just hit checkout and it'll be at your door in a few days. So
this is what I figure for my decision, right? Even though the other option for the other flashlight is a little more expensive, I figure if this is your survival and the survival of your family, then you know what? I'm willing to pay an extra $10 or $20 to have the better item. But as far as you reviewing all the different products, these are already some of the best items. You just didn't pull 4 or 5 flashlights out of anywhere. I mean, these are already the best of the best products. So now all I have to do is pick which one out of the 5 of those best of the best flashlights do I want to buy. So
exactly,
I'm going to go with the other one, the more expensive one, the $29.87 one that has a little more features. So let's add that to my cart and move on to the next thing. Multi-tools. Okay. All right, we got Gerber multi-tool. We got the Leather Wingman, or we have the Leatherman Wave Black. All right, the Gerber is like $23. The Leatherman Wingman's $29. But then when you get to the Leatherman Wave Black, there's a huge price jump. Now, in your opinion, as far as reviewing these, is it worth it for me to pay the extra money for that one, or just go with one of the other 2?
I don't think so. Actually, out of all the ones that I reviewed, so when I reviewed these, I tried not to bring price into it as much until I reviewed them without knowing the price, because I didn't want that to be a factor in knowing what the price was before I kind of gave it a chance. Actually, the one I was most impressed with was the Gerber, the cheapest one on our site, the $23.43 one. That one, it has an auto spring in it, so it actually comes back open for you, so it expands in your hand while you're using it. And honestly, I mean, the only thing with the Gerber that's a little bit nicer with the Leatherman is the Leatherman's a little bit more compact. The Gerber gets a little bit more bulky. But as far as the features and the durability, I think that honestly they're pretty much on the same, the same quality level. So, let's look at the weight. So the Leatherman Wave is 9.9 ounces. The Leatherman Wingman 6.8 ounces, and the Gerber's 10 ounces. So, like I said, it is a little bit bulky. If you went with the one in the middle,
go with the Gerber.
You want to go with Gerber? Okay.
Yeah, let's go with the Gerber. It looks like a great tool. All right, add to cart. Oh, just so the listeners know, my bug out bag is now 35% complete.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so next we got compasses.
Okay. We got the Texport static and this. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these names. Can you help? We got the Silva Lenstatic. Okay.
Yeah,
Which one would you suggest?
I think it's pronounced Sunto, but I'm not positive either. So I'm gonna let you make all these choices, and I'll tell you which one I would pick after you tell me which ones you would pick.
I'm going to go with the first one.
Okay.
The Texport Lenstatic Compass. It's a classic military style. Even though it's the cheapest, to me, as far as features, it looks like it can do the same job as these other ones that are a little higher priced.
Yep.
If not even more features. So I'm going to add that to my cart.
Okay.
And next up, we got signal mirrors. Okay. Let's see. Rescue mirror, signal mirror, military glass signal mirror.
Another thing that we should mention too is everything on eBugout, if you're budget conscious, is every time you see a product listing come up where you have multiple options, they're always ordered cheapest to most expensive. So if you know that you're trying to watch your budget as much as possible, the first one will always be the cheapest one on the site. And that's true even as Amazon updates their prices and stuff. If some of them are really close in price and Amazon prices update and they end up flip-flopping, they'll flip-flop on eBugout as well. So the cheapest one, as of while you're looking at it, will always be on the left-hand side, and the most expensive one will always be on the far right.
Okay, and two, when people hear the word cheap, you may be getting a cheap price. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a cheap product.
No, not at all. And all of these, see how we started choosing these products is we went onto Amazon and we found the most popular, high-selling products that people had 4-star or above reviews on, and people were saying great things about it. That's how we already knew that we were probably going to get a pretty decent product when we ordered these up to review them, is other people out there had great things to say about them. So we got them in the mail, and we ordered up about 350 products. And got them all shipped here. And while we were reviewing them, even though we chose all 4-star or higher items on Amazon and had them all shipped here, we eliminated over a third of the products that we originally selected because they did not meet our quality standards.
Yeah. Like I'm reading the descriptions right here for the signaling mirrors, and on the first two, which are the two cheapest products, one of the details in the descriptions is unbreakable. Now, the last two, which are more expensive, do not say unbreakable. So
right.
You guys did a good job as far as the descriptions and the pricing. For this category, I am going to go with the second one, the Adventure Medical Kits Rescue Flash Signal Mirror.
Okay.
My bug out bag is now 42% complete, and I'm having a really good time doing this. All right, and next up is whistles. Okay. All right, we got the Shoreline Marine, the Acme, CRS. Which one do you suggest?
Which one do I suggest?
Yep.
Honestly, well, this is my opinion on a whistle. A whistle to me is a whistle. I mean, I don't plan on using it much, so I look at basically the weight and the price, and if it makes a loud noise, then it makes a loud noise. Now, if you're in a situation where you really need to rely on your whistle to carry the sound, maybe, you should think about really reading deep into them. But if I was choosing my bug out bag, I would just get the cheapest whistle, honestly, because in a bug out scenario, you don't really want to draw attention anyways to yourself. You're already in a pretty bad spot if you're blowing a whistle. So, I would just get the cheapest one, in my personal opinion. But out of the ones,
have you noticed that metal whistles, they blow louder than plastic? Have you noticed that, or?
No, not really. Out of all the whistles that we have on the site right now, though, I was probably most impressed by the second one, the Acme safety whistle, the 636. It's really lightweight and it's really small. That would probably be the one that I would go with. It's actually it's not technically the cheapest one. It's pretty close, but you're talking about a couple of dollars difference, but that's the one I would probably go with just because of how small it is. A whistle is, like I said, something you're not planning on using a whole lot, so the smaller, kind of the better in my eyes. If you can throw it in the bottom of your bag, that thing isn't going to break even if you're throwing your cook pot and everything else on it because it's so compact. So that's probably the one I would go with.
All right, so let's go with that one. What's up next?
So up next, now we're done with the tools category, so now we're into food. So the next thing up in food is freeze-dried food, and there's a bunch of different options here. You can see there is scrambled eggs and bacon, and we feature all Mountain House foods. I've used them, I don't know on how many hiking occasions and stuff, and the fact that they're freeze-dried make them extremely lightweight. If you're on a budget and that's a concern to you, then I would recommend dehydrating your own food at home or something like that. Because Mountain House foods can get a little bit expensive, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. Freeze drying is an expensive process. So if you're on a budget, I recommend making your own dehydrated food at home and just leaving that out of your cart. But we feature exclusively Mountain House foods because of how lightweight they are. So the options are scrambled eggs and bacon, biscuits and gravy, beef stroganoff, chili mac and beef, rice and chicken, lasagna and meat sauce, and then chicken teriyaki and rice. So yeah, we could add a couple of those to our cart and we're good to go. They actually taste very, very good. I've eaten them on countless occasions, and they're not bad. They're not 5-star gourmet restaurant by any means, but they're a nice hot meal in the woods. So.
Sure. I just got a bucket of Mountain House called Mountain House Just In Case Essential Assortments, and they sent me a whole bucket, and I can't wait to review it. But I guess this is mostly according to taste, whatever the person's in the mood for.
Yeah, whatever
I like the scrambled egg. Yeah, I like the scrambled egg and bacon for breakfast, so I'm going to pick that. Wait, oh, yeah, biscuits and gravy, too. Oh, my God. No, I'm going to do the scrambled eggs and bacon for breakfast. Now, can I add, is it just one in this category, or can I add a few?
We only make sure that you have one thing of food because, like I said, if you're adding one thing of food, maybe you have some food bars at home or whatever. As long as you add one thing, we check that off as your food is complete. So, but yeah, you probably should add more than one thing. Technically, you're supposed to have 72 hours of food. So. The reason I didn't want to put too much logic into that category is because I don't know whether you're a single person or a family of 5 or whatever. So plan that accordingly. You're supposed to have 72 hours of food for every person that you're looking to support.
Okay. I'm going to do a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I picked the eggs and bacon, and for lunch I'm going to do some chili mac and beef. And then for my dinner, I am going to do it's either chicken teriyaki and rice, lasagna, meat sauce, or beef stroganoff. I'm going to do lasagna and meat sauce because it's a taste of home, and everyone in my family is Italian, and they make lasagna. So I think in a bug-out situation, I'm going to want to taste of home. So that's going to be my final dinner for the night. So let's add that to the cart. Okay, survival bars. What are the different survival bars you got?
So we have these are pretty competitively priced across the board. Most of them cost the same price. What you have to look at is how many calories are in each one. So let's see. The first one is a mainstay 1,200 calorie, and it looks like that's right around $8. The next one's a 3,600 calorie for $10. So that's a better deal for the amount of calories you're getting. So you're getting 3,600 calories right there. That's almost a 2-day supply of food right there for $10. So that's not bad. Let's see, here's a.
Let's go for the highest calorie.
3,600 calorie is $12. So it looks like, out of all of them, the best deal is the fourth one in, the mainstay emergent 600 calorie for $12.
All right, and that's a 3-day ration?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Let's add it. Okay. All right, the bug out bag is now 52% complete, and we're on utensils. All right, you got a stainless steel set, emergency zone set. I'm going to go with the stainless steel because it's steel. I'm thinking the plastic ones, they might break eventually, or are they well made, or what do you think?
So the plastic ones are pretty well made. I think that you'd have to do something pretty bad to break them. When we put them through the break test, I mean they were pretty durable. Now, that being said, I don't know if they would survive if you had them on the outside of your pack and you threw your pack off a cliff, but the stainless ones probably wouldn't survive that kind of behavior either. Out of all of these, I mean, it really comes down to personal preference. I mean, honestly, I don't think that it really matters. What you're really looking at here is weight. They're all very durable. Even the plastic ones are very durable. So what you're really looking at is the weight of the set and how much it costs is what you're trying to kind of balance. So the third one in, I don't know if you've seen that one or not, there's a GSI stacking set right there. That's plastic and that's pretty durable, but it stacks, so it takes up very little room. I don't know if you can see that in the picture or not, but the spoon, the fork, and the knife all compact into one little unit. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How it's made.
I also see it's BPA free. That's a big concern lately with a lot of people, especially with the water bottles and if you heat stuff up, it's seeping into the food. But a lot of beginner preppers, they might think like plastic. They might think of when you buy disposable forks and knives, they break easily. But this is not the same type of material at all. This is like really built to last stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go with the stainless steel, the first one that you had, the $5 one. We'll have that. Okay, cook pots. As far as cook pots, I want to save space on this one because I know how much space pots and pans can take up. Is there another stackable set that you suggest?
No. So if you're out of all of these, if you go to the final one over there on the very end, now that one's pretty expensive. It's a Tokes, but that's my favorite one. And so if you're concerned about space, here's a kind of a nice thing to know too, is that that's a cover. The saucepan is actually a cover for the pot there. And when you put that in there, now you have negative space in your pack, right? So if you have a flashlight or a headlamp or something that's you don't want to take a lot of damage, maybe it's your spoon or fork or something like that you don't want to take a lot of damage, now you have something protecting it. So keep that in mind too. Like, that negative space can always be used for something else.
Yeah, see, like the beginning prepper probably doesn't know this type of stuff. And this is really good information because, if they're packing a bag, they might just throw everything in there. They might not realize that the best thing to do is to use the negative space that you're talking about. Or you could also put it on the outside of the bag, or
Yeah, I mean, you can also use the outside of your bag for different things. A lot of people hang their sleeping pads off the outside of their bag because they just take up so much room, especially if you go with the cheaper one. So that's something to be aware of as well. When looking at these, I don't know if you noticed this or not. So the first one there is the Stanley Adventure Camp Cook Set. That actually, has a couple of cups that stack into each other, and then it goes inside of the steel thing. So that's actually pretty compact. But if you notice, look at the weight on that. So it's 13.6 ounces. It's over a pound for that. And you're looking at about it's about a 20-ounce container for you to be able to cook in. Now, if you click on that last one, this is a 54.1-ounce pot with a pan, and it's 8.2 ounces. It's almost half the weight, and it's got more than double the volume of space for you to be able to cook in. So especially if you have a family and you know you're going to have to be making more food than just a personal serving, that last one is going to be worth it. It's extremely lightweight. It's made out of solid titanium. I don't know if people listening in know that or not, but titanium is an extremely awesome material for hiking or prepping or whatever. It's very costly, but you're starting to do several miles a day, or you have this constantly weighing on your back, you'll notice those extra ounces.
Sure.
It's just something to be aware of.
All right.
But that being said, the
I'm
first one, like I said, the last one?
Yeah, I'm going to add the last one.
Okay.
I mean, you guys are the experts. You've tested all this stuff. I'm going to let you suggest most of the stuff I should buy. Let's pretend I'm a brand new prepper. I realize the need for preparedness, so I'm going to let you suggest all the stuff that we should buy. Stoves.
Okay, so for stoves, we have a few options here. We have a gas or a wood option. Depends on your situation. Like I said, a lot of this, if you're a beginning prepper, you don't have a lot of skill in the woods, you might want to go with a gas stove, especially if your version of bugging out is just getting from A to B and you're not actually planning on trying to stay in the woods for an extended period of time. Gas is probably going to do just fine. If your meaning of bug out is to hit the woods and you're going to stay out there forever, I highly recommend getting a wood stove because your gas is going to run out and then your gas stove isn't good for anything really. So that really depends. But I think most people probably plan to, bug out means, go somewhere safe and that kind of stuff. So let's add some gas stuff. So if you click on the gas one and then you click on the Esky Ultralight, we'll add that. You can see how cheap that is, $5.54 for that. It's an amazing thing. I've used it so many times. So then we click the back button in the bottom left. Yeah, so then we click the back button in the bottom left there. Do you see that, Vince?
Yeah.
Okay, so click that and then go to the fuel canister.
Add the cart first and then go back?
Yep. Add it to the cart and then click back because we need a fuel canister. So let's click on fuel canister and let's just grab one of them out of there. They're all compatible. So we could probably just grab the cheapest one, the Jet Power Fuel. So we'll add that to the site. Add that to the cart. Sorry.
And that's always the first one. The first one's always the cheapest. And that's always the first one because the first one's always the cheapest.
First one's always the cheapest.
Great.
So we added the Jet Boil for $10.36. Now we click on cooking fuel. And there's a few different options in here for your needs. The thing is a lot of the cooking fuels you're going to save a lot of money by getting bigger packages, but you don't unless you have a use for them. I wouldn't recommend buying extra. So on the first one there, just click on the Coghlan's Camp Heat and just add that to the cart. And we got our cooking fuel now. So that's your backup stove. So if you, for some reason, you can't get a fire going, if you have a wood stove or you ran out of gas or whatever, this is basically your sterno. You basically light it. It's basically a glorified fuel candle, if you will, and it'll heat anything. So now you can, cook your food or whatever you need to do, or you can even boil water if you absolutely had to. So that's what that's use is for. So next that's done with the food category. Now we're 66% of the way done with our bug out bag. We click on medical. So we need a med kit. Let's click on med kit. Okay. It depends on, so this is going to depend on the size of your party again, if you have a large family or it's just you. For me, it would be a few people, so I would probably, on these, I would probably go with the fourth option in, the Adventure Medical Kits Day Tripper. It's got quite a few different things in there, and it's really awesome. If you're just a single person, the Lifeline Day Hiker is an incredible product. $10.38. It's an extremely lightweight, extremely compact kit, but, I wouldn't recommend using that one for more than one person. So we're going to go with the fourth one in, the blue Mountain Series Medical Kit Day Tripper right there.
So that's good for someone like me. I would have my wife and my 2.5-year-old daughter.
Yep. I would say that would be good for you. If you were in a party of like 5 or more people, then I would recommend the next one up, the Sportsman series. That one's got a lot of stuff in it. And it says right on the package, you can actually see on the next one it does. So Vince, click on the Day Tripper again, and you'll see the blue medical kit up there. If you click the little expand button in the picture, it'll get bigger on your screen. And you can see right on there, group size 1 to 5, multiple days. So that would be perfect for what is that?
What's inside of it as far as contents?
So you can read that in the description. So contents. This has 5 1-inch by 3-inch adhesive bandages, 3 knuckle adhesive bandages, 4 butterfly closer bandages, 2 2x2 sterile gauze dressings, 2 4x4 sterile gauze dressings, 2 2-inch by 3-inch sterile non-adherent dressings, 1 pair of nitrile gloves, 1 5-inch by 9-inch trauma pad, 14 pre-cut and shaped moleskin pieces for blisters or burns, 1 2-inch elastic bandage with Velcro for fractures or sprains. Instruments that are included are 2 safety pins, 1 splinter picker / ticker for removing forceps. Medical information, it's got a guide to wilderness and travel medicine in there. As far as medication, it's got 2 afterbite wipes, 2 25 milligrams ointments, 4 325 milligram aspirin, 2 2-milligram packages of Diamode, 3 200 milligram packages of ibuprofen. For wound care, it's got 4 antiseptic wipes, 2 alcohol swabs, 2 cotton tip applicators, 1 18-gauge tip 10 cc syringe, 1 1-inch by 10-yard roll of tape, 1 skin tack adhesive wipe, and 3 packages of triple antibiotic ointment. So there's a lot of stuff packed into a very small space there, and that way you don't have to go hunting for all this stuff and everything. You just get it shipped. It's already meant to be lightweight for your pack, and you just throw it in and you're ready to go.
Sure. And hopefully you won't have to use it. But I always figured medical was one of the most important things, right up there with food.
Yeah, medical is very important because, nobody plans to get hurt, but it happens. I mean, accidents happen, and when you're in a bug-out situation and someone gets hurt, it can very easily become an emergency, whereas around the house it might not have been a big deal. You could have gone in and washed yourself up and, put a little bit of ointment on it and you would have been just fine. But if you don't have that kind of stuff in the woods, you let it draw an infection, you let it, get escalated, it can very easily get out of hand very quickly, and so medical is something that should not be overlooked.
Yeah. Now, if I'm the man of the family, the head of the household, and I have my wife and my 2-year-old daughter, is everything that I picked so far good enough? I mean, obviously, I would probably have to upgrade my food a little bit, but
your food a little bit, and you'd probably want, more water bottles. You're not going to want to share a water bottle between all of you, not because you couldn't share, but because it's not enough volume to hold the amount of water that you guys would need. So you'd want to add some more water bottles as well, and what you'd probably want to do is add up a bunch of stuff on this site. For your entire, whatever your group need would be. So your wife and your daughter also need a water bottle, and maybe you want an extra one just for reserve. And so you add all those to your cart, and then when you get to the end, I haven't explained this to people yet, but when you get to the end, that volume at the bottom there that's been being calculated every time you add up items, it's going to show you that volume. And the reason that it shows the volume is because I'm assuming that most people that come here may be single or may be doing an individual bag. Now, if you're a family, here's how you can use the tool the way that it stands. When you get done adding all the items that you want for your entire family, look at the total volume, and if it's, let's say it's 140 liters, which I doubt it would be that large, but let's just say it is, 140 liters, you get a 90-liter bag and a 70-liter bag Actually, you'd be over then. A 90-liter bag and a 50-liter bag, and you'd be fine. It's going to show on the tool when you go to select a bag that everything is too small on the site. All that means is you as a user need to look at your you need to look at the volume down there and see, okay, so we're at 140 liters or so. We're going to need more than one backpack. That's all the site's telling you is there's no way to get everything that you've selected into one backpack. There's just no way. And so then maybe, you'd want to carry a 90-liter Kelty bag, and maybe your wife would want a 50-liter, and then your daughter just, would carry her own water bottle or something, or maybe she didn't carry anything, whatever. So yeah, I mean it's really awesome to play with. It's a lot of fun to make a bug out bag this way, and that was my goal. I mean that's my goal. I mean if this doesn't go mainstream and people aren't on the site every day, that's okay. I mean I did this so that people have an outlet to have fun, and I fixed the issue of creating a bug out bag being an extremely stressful thing. So just knowing that I fixed that and got this out there for people is enough for me. I don't need people to be on this every day or be using it every day or anything like that. I mean, I just think that there's a huge use case for it, and people can have a lot of fun doing this. So
sure. I haven't had this much fun on a preparedness website in a long time, man. This is really flexed about how you actually accomplished all this. The amount.
Vince, could I jump in here? I have a couple of comments here if we have a moment.
Sure. This is the Underground Prepper, my new co-host.
One thing, there's a old term we used to use in the military. Pounds equal pain. And I can see this having definitely a military application where soldiers and Marines and so forth can basically, add up what they need to carry. So that's a huge point, and you might want to consider approaching someone, Travis, as far as that goes. Now you sell every product that you're recommending right on the website, correct?
So we recommended these products after reviewing them and things like that, but actually everything is fulfilled by Amazon. So I don't personally stock any of these items. They come directly from Amazon, and the reason that we went with that model is for a few reasons. So one reason is that what the consumer gets out of it. I wanted this to be a tool where the consumer is getting the most benefit possible. And the way that works by using the Amazon structure is, one, the profit that I make for people buying a bag on the site does not come out of the consumer's pocket. It comes out of Amazon's pocket. So if you, as a consumer, want a K-bar knife and you go directly to Amazon and you buy it, it's going to be the exact same price as if you would have come to my site and buy it. So that's huge right there, because now what we've done is we've created a free tool because it costs absolutely nothing to use. We're not charging anybody anything for using this advanced technology that we've put together for creating a bug out bag. We're not charging anything for it. So now as a user, you're getting the low prices of Amazon, you're getting the shipping reliability of Amazon, you're getting the return policy of Amazon. The list goes on and on as to why Amazon's a good vendor to use for these things, but especially if you have Amazon Prime, it's awesome to use this tool, because when I ordered up the 350 products to initially review them, I had every single one in less than 5 business days. Every single one accounted for and inventoried. That's incredible. I don't know if any other shipping vendor out there in the world would be able to pull that off. I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, I ordered 350 products totaling over $10,000, had them shipped here, and they were all here within 5 business days. Every single one. Down to the last glue bottle, super glue bottle.
They're saying that Amazon's doing a drone program. Is it possible in the future that Amazon will just drop me off by drone a pre-made bug-out bag from ebugout.com?
I don't know. I don't know what Amazon is doing.
I know. That is awesome. I would just say I heard it in the news lately about how they're experimenting with drones. I could only imagine how cool that would be to be on an interactive website, getting all the different stuff from my bug out bag, and then it gets delivered by a drone where they just drop it right there for me. That would be awesome. This is truly a revolutionary site, man. This is awesome.
The FAA actually, first I heard it was just a big hoax, okay, and then when you start to think about it logically, the FAA would nix that very quickly. But what I see, Travis, is that you could actually approach other large websites and say, hey, I've got this great tool you can use for free, and have it be a tool that they can put on one of their pages, and then you make, again, the key thing for listeners to remember is that if I'm going to spend $30 on a K-bar, okay, and I'm going to buy it at kbar.com, I can go to your site and spend $30 on that exact same K-bar. It's not going to cost me any more. Like you said, that comes out of Amazon's pocket, not the end consumer's pocket. So that's a very, very key point. So, but yeah, this is very interesting.
Right. Well, like I said, and I don't want to get too much into the code specifications, but the way that Amazon is set up with their affiliate programs and stuff, I'm sure that you've seen them out there. They're on almost every survival website out there. They'll have product advertising all over the place where you can click on a water bottle, and then if you buy that, then that person that was blogging or whatever gets credit for that purchase. This is a whole nother level. This was not supposed to have been possible, but I made it possible with several different Amazon APIs that are combining data and then filtering them back into my site so that everything is real time, and I'm able to actually create a cart for a user and then send them to Amazon with all those products ready to go for them. So it's an interactive experience versus a passive approach to, advertising all over the place, So there's definitely a clear selling point here where people can come here, and the important thing to remember here is that the products that we recommend, we have no reason with this business model to promote junk. We have absolutely we can be completely non-biased with the products that we recommend, and that's another reason why I went with the Amazon model, is because we get a fixed percentage for selling, whether the item is junk or quality or whatever. So why would I promote junk to make a fixed percentage off of that item? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I wanted to go with that model because I know how companies work. I've seen enough companies and how they work. And the reason that a lot of survival companies sell junk isn't because they're trying to be a bad company or a bad manager, but they have responsibilities, they have overhead, they have everything else, they need to stock this stuff. And when they get approached by, cheap China knives and things that they can throw in these bug-out bags and they have to pay 45 cents for them, they're able to actually pay their employees, they're able to actually stay in business and whatever, and so it's very easy to sell out and say, I'm not going to be about quality anymore, I'm going to be about profit margins so that I can keep my company in business. And so that's why I went with this model as well, is because we can be non-biased when selecting products, which really helps people trust what we're recommending.
Yep, especially for the long run. If you want to stay in business for a while, word will get around that you've got the best products and stuff like that. Are you available on every single platform? Like if someone wants to do this from their smartphone, will it work the same way?
Yeah, so you can do this on a mobile device. I'm actually working right now on making it even more optimized for mobile devices. You can do it right now on mobile, and it definitely will respond to your device, and it will work. Some of the features of the site on mobile are a little bit clunky, I would say. It's not the same experience as if you do it on desktop right now. So you can do it. You can certainly do it on mobile and tablets and things like tablets are a better experience than your mobile phone would be. But I'm working on actually making that even more optimal for people so that you can do this kind of thing. But I would still recommend even once it's more optimized and it's even better on mobile, you should probably do it from a computer because this is a very interactive thing where you're trying to absorb a lot of information. And
Mm-hmm.
it takes more time to absorb information from a cell phone than it does a computer, because you have more real estate to read on a computer. You have more real estate to work with on a computer. You can click around easier and interact a little bit quicker to things. And so I'm always going to recommend that people, check this out on your desktop computer or your laptop or whatever, because you're going to have a much more ideal experience with it, even after it's optimized, because you're trying to fit a very, very complex tool into a very, very small screen real estate.
Okay, sounds good. One more thing before we move on with finishing our bug out bag. How long have you been working on this? When did you come up with it? How did you get into prepping?
Okay, so actually, I started working on eBug Out as a school project. Actually, I've been working full time in the field for 6 years. Also been going to school full time all that whole while, and we needed to do a website because I'm in web development, and we had to do a website. And so I said, well, what am I passionate about? Well, I'm passionate about survival. I guess I'll, maybe throw together a survival blog or something like that and just kind of have fun with it. And slowly, as that, course project kind of evolved, I said, you know what, why don't I make something that would be really useful for people? So it slowly kind of evolved. And so over the course of the last, I would say now almost a year, I started working on this almost a year ago right now, and we actually launched it June 1st of this year. So it's been live for 2.5 months as of right now. But it was a lot of work, and I was managing it around, a full-time job and school at the same time, and so, yeah, it took me some time to develop it, but now that it's live, I'm super excited to share it with people. I'm super excited to see people interacting with it, and it's awesome to see the responses. I'm getting emails all the time of people saying, hey, great site. This was so much fun to customize our bug out bag on, and I got it in the mail. Everything was there. I packed it, and everything packed really well. And I actually had a little bit of extra room to add some things around the house. And it's just awesome to hear back from people, because that's the fun part for me, is I want pictures of people with their bug out bags that they ordered from us. And actually, I actually also want to say this. This is the first time I've ever actually said this. There's nothing on our site that actually says this. But if you order a bug out bag through our site, email us on our contact form and send me your address. I will ship you for free, no cost to you. I will ship you an eBug Out patch that you can sew onto it. We have special patches here that you can actually sew onto your bug out bag. And the reason that I need you to actually reach out to me and tell me that you want one is because the way that the process works through Amazon is if you go onto the site and you purchase a bug out bag through me, when you hit checkout, I'm sending your cart over to Amazon without any of your personal information, and then at that point you're logging into Amazon servers and you're telling Amazon where to ship it and your credit card details and all that stuff. So I never see any of that. If for instance, Vince, if you went today and you purchased a bug out bag right now, I would have no clue that you did it. All I would see on my end is Amazon telling me, yep, 30 more items sold, and here's what sold. I don't get your name. I don't get your email address. I don't get your address. I get nothing. I know absolutely nothing. So,
Travis, if I could interrupt, Vin, there's a big storm coming. I'm going to have to go down into the bunker here pretty soon. One thing, first of all, that's very, very impressive that you had that quick of a turnaround time on this. I could see programmers taking years on something like this. The second thing is I could see this as a white label opportunity for you, where you approach some of the bigger companies and either you do a revenue split with them or you charge them quite a substantial fee to put that on their website. Just something you might want to consider. It's the business side of me thinking.
Well, we do have our own internal affiliate program right now. So if people are interested in trying to make money with eBug Out, you like what we do, you like our vision, you like our model that quality is basically everything, in this industry, and we don't ship junk, we don't sell junk. reach out to us and let me know that you're interested in how can you make money with eBug Out, and I'll explain to you how that affiliate program works, and if you're interested.
Absolutely.
We'll get
I
you
can
going.
guarantee we will.
So.
Hey, I want to finish my bug out bag.
So, all right, yeah, let's finish it up real quick because I got to get going here soon too. So, all right, so we left off on the med kit, so let's go to ointment real quick, Vince. And there's several different ointments in here. For ointment, let's just take the Good Sense Maximum Strength, that first one. Let's add that to the cart. Now we need a clotting device in case our leg splits open or something like that. I've heard really, really good things about Celox. So I'm going to choose the fourth one in there, the 15 grams. So let's grab that one and add it to the cart. That's $21, but it'd be worth a lot more than that if it saves your life. The vitamins, that's something that people may or may not want. I put it in there because if you're adjusting to life in a bug out scenario and you're malnourished and whatever, that might be something that you can kind of use as a way to not be such a shock on your system going from 5-course dinners to eating a squirrel every night. That might be something that you're interested in. So let's just grab one of those. Sure. The first one there, the 1-a-day men's. Add that to the cart. Then we got potassium iodide. In the case of a nuclear event, we're going to want some potassium iodide. We'll take the first one there. There's 14 tablets, $6.99. I'd recommend getting more than that, but that's the one we're going to go with.
I found that potassium iodine is not just for nuclear stuff. I've cured a ton of stuff from the common cold to flu viruses just from taking potassium iodine. It's amazing the stuff that you can do with it. I mean, I wouldn't take it all the time, but if you really need to, it's almost better than antibiotics. And again, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm just going by experience. It's really good to have this stuff on hand. Yeah.
All right. So that completes medical. We're good on medical now. Vince, what's your cart total right now?
I'm at 83%.
Yep, and you're at $371.43 for the total.
I got $413 so far, and
okay, so you must have something different in your cart than I have. But
I think I picked a few different things. Yeah, earlier on I picked a few different things.
Okay. So let's move on into shelter. So in shelter, we need a cover of some sort. We either need a tent or a tarp. So I'm on a budget. I can't afford a tent right now. I'm going to go with a tarp. I'm going to go with 10 by 12 camo. The third one in, the $18.70 one. I'm going to add that to the cart. Sleeping bags. Let's see. Around here, I would actually need a low one for the winter, but I'm going to assume like it's kind of summer months. I'll just go with the first one here, the Coughlin 40 degree. Add that to my cart.
All right, where I am, it gets very cold. So
it gets very cold here. I mean, if you're going to plan on getting through the winter, you're going to need the really expensive sleeping pad that we have on there, the Kelty 5 degree. That's a down. That's like a down. It's like a down comforter inside of that bag, and it will keep you warm.
Yeah. So I figure if I'm bugging out, I'm sleeping, and if the bag is too hot for me, don't sleep on the bag. Just sleep on top of it, right?
Right.
But if it's really cold, you're going to need something that will really protect you from the cold. So to me, This is a serious investment right here. You got to have something that's going to keep you warm in the winter months if you live in an area where you need it. So what was the one that you suggested?
So for sleeping pads, I just went with the first one. The Coughlin 40 degree is what I went with. Okay, so then under sleeping pads, I just want to interject real quick here and just mention to any listeners that are listening in, do not skimp on your sleeping pad. Do not do it, okay? We have them on the site for people that are die-hard people that want to have the rolling pad that you're going to hang on the outside of your pack. I don't recommend doing that just for so many reasons. Because here's the thing, is those pads, they will hold up and everything, but I don't know if you've never been hiking, it gets very annoying if you have a strap around the bottom of your bag that's holding that in, and it constantly smacks you in the leg. It might sound kind of weird, but if you have even something that lightweight smacking you in the leg all day, by the end of the day, your legs are really going to hurt from that. Even though it's really lightweight and stuff, trust me, I've been there, done it. I recommend going with, something that's air-filled, something that you can blow up and then lay on, because then you actually have like a mattress almost, especially the Climate one. That's by far my favorite product on this whole site. If I had to have one product in my bug-out bag, that's it. I would almost be tempted to trade my knife for that sleeping pad right there, just because
I have a bad back. I was in
because a good night's sleep is just everything to me. I can't operate without sleep, so that's everything to me. So a Climate sleeping pad, that's $75. It's $75 for that sleeping pad. But here's the thing: is it compresses down to being like approximately, I'd say, about 10 inches long by 4 inches by 4 inches. You're talking about something so small that you can fit inside of your pack, away from the weather now, away from the rain and stuff. It's just awesome to have something that small and that lightweight. Plus, it's, like I said, it's really lightweight. So I would highly recommend sinking, if you're going to sink your money somewhere, sink it into a quality sleeping pad.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I mentioned before I have a bad back. I was in 2 car accidents. If I were to sleep on the ground without any insulation, it would pretty much feel like I got hit by a truck. And in a survival situation, you need to be at your best. You can't have, like, the whole day be limping around because you didn't get a good night's sleep. I mean, you have to protect your family. And you never know. So to me, that is well worth it. I am going to go for the comfortable mat.
Right. Yeah, so that's the one I'm going to put in my card here. Then the last thing that we have that's required here, well, 2 things technically. We have 550 paracord, and then we have to choose our backpack. So 550 paracord is available on eBug-Out in 20-foot, 50-foot, 100-foot, and 250-foot lengths. So I would recommend that if you're going to be packing paracord in your bug-out bag, get at least 100 feet of it, because you can actually pack about 13 feet, 11 to 13 feet or so, actually on a wristband that you have as a survival bracelet. You should have a lot more than what you can carry on your wrist in your actual pack. So I would say a minimum go with 100 feet. You're talking about $8 for the paracord for 100 feet. So actually I'm going to go with the 250 foot lengths. I'm going to go with the black because it's the cheapest. Actually, it's tied with like 3 different colors here. So you could actually get a camel color or a orange and black one, or the black one for the exact same price. I'm going to go with the first one in black, $22.99 for 250 feet of it. Going to add that to the cart. We're 97% done. Now, I'm not going to cover this too much in here. I don't want to go through this because we're running low on time here. But under accessories, accessories is an optional category in eBug-Out. We do not check anything in there because they're accessories. Now, we do want to promote that you look at those to see if you want them in your bug-out bag, because we don't want you to forget things. But that's something that you definitely should consider. So under accessories, we have hygiene. We have hygiene, batteries, communication devices, defensive things like tasers or pepper spray, and then miscellaneous we have things like duct tape, fishing kits, sewing kits, cards, Mylar blankets, pack covers, toilet paper, that kind of stuff. So we don't require that, and actually make sure that you have that in your bug-out bag, because most of that stuff you can survive with pretty easily. Duct tape might be a little bit arguable, but you do have your paracord and things like that. So we skip over that category as far as checking it.
One thing I just saw that was pretty interesting, when I clicked on backpacks, 4 of the backpacks, a special highlight, like warning sign popped up on them, and it said too small. So this software, your program, is automatically smart enough to know that what I've ordered so far won't fit into those bags. That is awesome.
Exactly.
That is really cool.
Exactly. And that's why I said if you're doing a family thing where you're putting a ton of stuff into your cart, they're all going to say too small because you've added enough stuff for a whole family. But then that's when I said that's when you just look at the volume in the bottom right where it says required bag volume. It'll say 130 liters or whatever. And, you know, if you want to carry more than your wife, or you want to carry the same amount as your wife, or however you want to work that out with your family, you can actually say, okay, well, I can carry 80 liters, my wife can carry 50, and maybe I should get like a 30-liter bag for my daughter, depending on her age, or your son, or whatever your situation is. You can divvy that up however you want and figure out the volume that you need for all the different backpacks, and that way you know that you're not going to get a ton of extra space that you don't need. So, yeah. But for a single person like we're doing right now, we're making all this stuff. Now I just choose my backpack, and the cheapest one that I can get that's large enough for my gear is the H-Bag 80-liter. It's a $67 and 34-cent backpack, 80 liters internal frame backpack. And so that's the one I'm going to add to my cart, and now I'm ready to go. I'm done. I'm at 100%.
Yeah.
My bag weight is 20 pounds and 12 ounces. My required volume is 59 liters, and I have an 80-liter pack, so I have plenty of extra space in there if I want to add other things around the house. I can still. So, yeah, now we're ready to check out. So then I just scroll down, and there's a checkout on Amazon button. I click that checkout on Amazon. It opens in a new tab, and it asks me, add to shopping cart. Please confirm that you want to add the following items to your cart. It lists all the prices right there and all the items I selected. I hit continue, and it'll either have you create a new Amazon account or sign in with your existing Amazon account, and there you go. And now you're done. Now you're on Amazon servers. Like I said, now I cannot see anything that goes on, so I won't have any of your personal information if that's a concern to anybody out there that they don't like to give out their personal info, but they already have an Amazon account. Now you check out, and in a few business days, it'll be at your house, and now all you have to do is just pack it in your bag, and you're done.
This is amazing, man. I don't know how you did this, but you did it. This is awesome. I would think ordering the stuff that I ordered, if I was going to buy it one piece at a time, it probably would be at least somewhere between $800 to at least $1,200. But for everything that I picked, to have me and my family to have a bug-out bag ready to go to ensure our survival, it's going to cost me $643, shipped to my door, and that's it. I have it ready to go.
Well, yeah, and you could have got by a lot cheaper. So let me show you one other thing quick before I let you go here. Is if you're on a really tight budget and you know that you just have to get the cheapest pack possible that we can recommend for you, is do this, Vince. On the eBug-Out site, click the little home button in the top left there. Mm-hmm. And then a bunch of other little options will come up, and it'll say share your cart, autofill cart, empty cart, and back to ebugout.com. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, yep. Click empty cart. We're going to empty out all the stuff that we just did. It's going to clear our cart out.
I don't want to empty it. I like all the stuff that I have. I'm ready to check out for real.
Okay, so if we empty our cart, though, and get that down to zero, now if I'm on a budget, I can click the autofill cart button. What that's going to do is that's going to go through every required category on the site, and it's going to add the cheapest item from a price perspective that's possible. So the cheapest bug-out bag on the site.
It just sliced it in three. It's like 1/3 the price now. Holy cow! This is amazing.
So yeah,
this is
so
so
that
cool,
is the
man.
cheapest stuff. That's the cheapest. So the cheapest bug-out bag on ebugout.com right now, if you go with the from a price perspective, the cheapest items that we offer that met our quality standards, so you're not getting junk, you're getting stuff that will hold up for you and your family, and my conscience is clear on that because I've tested these products, is $277.41. Now, Vince, you've been in the survival industry, the prepping industry for a while now, and you tell me that that's not reasonable for a quality bug-out bag. I have seen some sites out there where they want to charge between $1,000 to $2,000 for a military tactical bag with a few items in it, and right here you can get a bug-out bag that's higher quality than the stuff that you're going to get from those sites, between $300, between $275, $277, whatever. And if you have the most expensive stuff on our site, you might be able to get up to $1,000 around there, I would say. So, it really depends on what you want. But hey, this is the biggest thing. This is the most important thing, and this is what I want to talk about real quick. eBug-Out gives you the option to what you want to sink your money into and what you don't want to sink your money into. That will always be superior to a prepackaged solution because do not force me to get quality items that I don't want, and don't force me to get cheap items that I don't want. Those prepackaged solutions, sometimes they have stuff in there that is really high quality, but like I said, they want to charge you $1,500 for it, and you go, well, I don't want a tomahawk, but I have to have it because it's part of the kit. That's where this really comes in, is you have the opportunity to go through this and individually choose what you want to sink your money into and what you don't want to sink your money into, and make a perfect bug-out bag for you and your family.
Sure. Yeah, well, when I was cherry picking the exact products that I wanted, it was like $600 and something, right? And I was fine with that. I was ready to pay that. But then when you you said clear it and do the autofill cart, where I can get all that same stuff that I need for survival, but at a cheaper price. It's all been reviewed by you. So if I can get it at $277 for a complete bug out bag for my family, that's like unheard of in this industry. And now I can spend that extra money if I want on accessories, like the stun gun or the other stuff. So that is awesome. I've never ever seen.
And the nice part about it is, Vince, is if you wanted to, if you know that, hey, $277 is a lot better deal, I'm going to keep those items in there. Now, if you go over to the sidebar where you see all those items, okay, and you can individually see them. They're highlighted in, or they're green. If you hover over them, they turn orange. If you click on it, it'll take you right to that product, and you can hit the little red X and get rid of it out of your cart and add a different item if you want to upgrade something and, little bits and pieces, and you want to stay as close to that $277 mark as you can, but you want to upgrade, $3 on the flashlight and $2 on the matches and whatever, and, really interact with the tool and engage with it because it's a very, very powerful thing.
Yeah. If someone's working with an exact budget, like let's say they have exactly $450 to spend on this, they can go and hit the autofill, and then they can upgrade to better items or add accessories till it reaches $450, and they can check out. There's so many different options that you programmed into this. This is going to be the premier website for bug out bags. This is it. You've done it.
And then the other option too is if you actually empty your cart again, and for sure, if you click on bottles, and let's say that you wanted a metal one, you wanted the hydro flask, and I add the first one there, the stainless steel, and then I scroll down in the sidebar over to, let's see, you said you had a bad back, so we're going to go down to sleeping pads right here. I click on sleeping pads. I click on the climate inflatable because you said, that's going to really be worth it to you. We add that. Now if I go up to the autofill, it'll add the cheapest items in everything that doesn't already have something in it. So it's not going to overwrite what you already have in there.
Wow. I know a little bit about programming and code, HTML, ActionScript, Java, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around how you actually did this. This is so, on the user end, it's so simple. But I'm trying to imagine you actually with all the coding trying to put this together. I'm like, how did this guy do this?
I would be lying if I said that there weren't a few nights there where I was tearing my hair out trying to get everything to work. But I was able to get it done, and that's why I'm so excited to share it, because I sunk a ton of work into this. A lot of nights where I was very frustrated and trying to get everything to work the way I wanted it to, because I am in the target market. I'm a person who would buy a bug out bag, so I know what the user wants. I know how they want the site structured. I know what features I want to see in the site, and from a programming perspective, I said I need to make it happen. I don't care how difficult it is. I need to make it happen for the end user, because that they're going to build me a bug out bag and they're going to do it interactive and everything else. That thing better track weight, because if it doesn't, then why, it's not interactive. It better track volume, because I want to know if my stuff's going to fit into my bag. I want an ability to share my bug out bag. So when you made your bag, Vince, and you were at $561 or whatever, and you wanted to share that with a friend and said, this is the exact bug out bag I got, if you click on that little home icon up there again and you click share your cart, it'll come up with a link right there that you can share with your friends. And if you send that link to anybody that you know and they click on it, it'll automatically populate the cart with exactly what you had in it. And you can share that through Facebook, Google+,
share it right now,
Twitter.
My Facebook page.
So it's really a fun thing to just engage with. And even if you're not in the market for buying a bug out bag right now, even if you already have a bug out bag and it's 100% ready to go and whatever, check out ebuggout.com anyways. Give me some feedback. Interact with us and let us know what you think is awesome about our site, what maybe you don't like about it, because like I said, I want this to become a community where people can talk back and forth and become part of the solution here, and not just have me behind the scenes trying to say, okay, you want this, this, and this, and I know everything, or something like that. I want an engaging conversation where I know I'm getting some feedback onto what people are going to want to see in the future.
Yeah, you've done a wonderful job, and I think where it really appeals to is the masses, because more and more people are starting to get more educated about preparedness and survival. And with all the crazy stuff going on in the world today, people kind of know, something's up, or anything could be around the corner. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. But the average person isn't an expert. They got to go work their 9-to-5 job. They may not have time to research all the different stuff, or even buy each stuff one piece at a time. Offering this one-stop solution for them, you're helping people so much get prepared, or you're giving them a chance to actually survive if something really, really bad happened. And that's great, man. You make it fun. It's interactive. This is awesome. It really is. And I really thank you for everything you've done. This is great.
Yeah, no, well, like I said, I was happy to do it. I mean, I knew that I had the ability to do it, and I wanted to do it for the survival and prepping community, because I've been there. I know what it feels like to want to have a bug out bag, and you're stressed out. You're trying to get one, and it's just not a scenario that you want to see people in, because what you get frustrated, and you're trying to make a bug out bag, and your only option is to spend $200 on gas back and forth to all the chain stores out there to get your stuff, and even then you're not getting really high quality stuff. You're overpaying it at a retail level. This system all works from Amazon.com, and I'm sure that most people know that if you go to a Cabela's or something like that and you find these exact same products on their shelves, there's a very good chance it's 10, 20, 30% cheaper on Amazon than it is at all those stores. So you're getting an amazing deal by using this tool, and it's not costing you anything. That's the beauty of it, is I could use the Amazon pricing structure for the consumer benefit, and I don't have to charge the consumer anything for it. All of the referral comes right out of Amazon's pocket, so there's no reason not to use the tool. So it's just really, I'm just really super excited to share it with people, and excited to see where we go from here, and what features we can build in the future to make this even easier for people.
Great. Hey, you want to come back on the show in like a month or two and you tell us the progress? And
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing. Yeah, I'll come back on the show in a couple of months, and I'll let you know what kind of feedback I get from people, and what maybe some, I'm sure a couple months goes by, there's going to be new things on the site that I've implemented and that I've done maybe a little bit differently to try to help people. So we'll talk about all that stuff then.
Sounds great, Travis. Hey, thank you so much, buddy. It's been really fun.
Yeah, no, it has. So, I can't wait for a couple months to go by, and I'll be back on the show.
All right, we'll be hearing from you.
All right, thanks very much.
Again, that's Travis from ebugout.com. They have a really good application for making custom bug out bags.